Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us today. We are pleased to present our financial results for the year ended 28 February 2026 and to provide an overview of the group's performance, key developments, and strategic priorities. A copy of this presentation will be available on the group's website. We will begin our presentation with the operational review. Yolanda will then present the financial review. I will discuss our ESG performance, and I will close with the outlook for the group. There will be an opportunity for questions at the end of the presentation. Restructuring plan update. Shareholders were previously advised that the lenders extended the capital repayment profile of the loan as well as its duration to 30 June 2026. The group concluded a new 5-year term facility of 850 million rand with Standard Bank. This facility replaced the loan, which was fully settled on 31 October 2025, thereby terminating the historic lender arrangements and the restructuring plan. With respect to the disposal of SS Mozambique, shareholders were advised that the relevant sale agreements became unconditional and that the disposal was implemented on 12 December 2025. Therefore, the results reflect continuing and discontinued operations. I shall now cover the key indicators for continuing operations. These results include the recognition of the Kusile Power Project settlement, which increased revenue and operating profit with 448 million and 388 million respectively. Contract revenue increased slightly to 7.8 billion. Operating profit increased by 107% to 689 million. The group's current order book has doubled to 17.2 billion. The continued growth in the order book reflects the group's deliberate and disciplined strategic positioning within selected sectors and markets. During the year, the group secured a number of key contracts supported by improved tender conversion rates, strong execution credibility, and long-standing client relationships developed over many years. Our selective and focused bidding strategy continues to deliver positive outcomes, with emphasis placed on projects that align with our risk appetite, technical capability, and targeted margin requirements. Importantly, the quality and duration of the order book provide enhanced revenue visibility, with a significant portion of secured work extending over multiple financial periods through long-term contractual commitments. Cash on hand increased significantly from 470 million to 1.1 billion. Excluding the effects of the Kusile Power Project settlement and the impairments relating to land and buildings of 27 million, normalized contract revenue is 7.4 billion, with an operating profit of 328 million and an operating profit margin of 4.4%. Inland Region. Inland Region delivered a strong performance with a significant increase in both revenue and operating profit to 4 billion and 285 million respectively, with growth recorded in the roads and earthworks, geotechnical and electrical disciplines. The electrical discipline expanded its traditional footprint from the petrochemical and mining industries into the data center and renewable energy sectors. Included within the operating profit is an impairment of 14 million relating to land and buildings. Inland's order book at February 2026 was 5.8 billion, with 87% of revenue generated from the private sector. The current order book is 5.7 billion, with 4.1 billion for 2027 and 1.6 billion thereafter. There are short-term potential awards of 3 billion and future opportunities of 37 billion. Coastal Region. Coastal Region results were supported by a diversified portfolio across civils, roads and earthworks, buildings, and an increasing exposure to water, wastewater, marine and industrial sectors. Contract revenue of 1.4 billion delivered an increased operating profit of 75 million. This increase is attributable to disciplined execution across projects, overhead cost control, and increased risk management through targeted tendering. Coastal's order book at February 2026 was 2.6 billion, with 58% of revenue from the private sector. The current order book is 2.9 billion, with 1.2 billion for 2027 and 1.7 billion thereafter. There are short-term potential awards of 3 billion and future opportunities of 20 billion. Western Cape region. Western Cape produced a solid performance despite revenue being impacted by delays in project implementation, with contract revenue of 860 million and an operating profit of 48 million, which includes an impairment of 14 million relating to land and buildings. Western Cape's order book at February 2026 was 3.1 billion, with 82% of revenue generated from the public sector. The current order book is 3.2 billion, of which 1.5 billion is for 2027 and 1.7 billion thereafter. There are short-term potential awards of 700 million and future opportunities of 49 billion. Africa region. Contract revenue is 1.1 billion with an operating loss of 38 million. In Eswatini, revenue was impacted by delays in project implementation. However, an improved operating profit on a reduced contract revenue was achieved. Botswana performed to expectation, but unfortunately, government investment into infrastructure development did not materialize as expected. The Zambian operation was negatively impacted by the following: reduction in contract revenue due to delayed contract awards resulting in holding costs, and the strengthening of the Zambian kwacha against both the South African rand and the US dollar, resulting in a lower gross profit on a significant contract. Africa's order book at February 26 was 4.1 billion. 50% of contract revenue is generated from the private sector. Africa's current order book is 5.2 billion, with 1.9 billion for 2027 and 3.3 billion thereafter. There are short-term potential awards of 1.4 billion and future opportunities of 15 billion. On a normalized basis, the group delivered a strong performance, with contract revenue of 7.4 billion, an operating profit of 328 million, and an operating profit margin of 4.4%. 69% of revenue is generated from the private sector and 84% from within South Africa. The group's current order book increased significantly to 17.2 billion, with 8.7 billion for 2027 and 8.5 billion thereafter. There are short-term potential awards of 8 billion and future opportunities of 121 billion. Plant and equipment remain critical enablers of the group's operational capability and project delivery performance. The group takes pride in maintaining a high-quality, reliable, well-managed plant fleet, which supports productivity, safety, efficiency, and the consistent delivery of services to clients across all of our operations. The group adopts a plant replacement policy aimed at ensuring an optimal size and age of its fleet. During the year, an investment of 308 million was made. The group's plant strategy is to monitor plant costs versus plant revenue and plant availability. Our internal target is for plant costs not to exceed 40% of plant revenue and plant availability to be over 90%. In 2024, plant cost to revenue was 62%, with plant availability at 85%. Due to significant investment over the last 2 financial years, plant cost to revenue has decreased to 42%, with an increase in availability to 95%. Kusile Power Project Update. The DAB issued its Subclause 20.4 decision on 17 October 2025, awarding the group 685 million excluding VAT. Eskom issued a notice of dissatisfaction and indicated that they intended to have the award set aside in totality by the High Court of South Africa. If successful, Claim 5 would be referred to arbitration, thereby recommencing the entire claims process. The contract provided for amicable settlement prior to the commencement of an arbitration process. Consequently, after careful deliberation, the board of Stefanuti Stocks considered it appropriate to approach Eskom with a view to reaching a settlement with respect to Claim 5, Claim 6, and Eskom's delayed damages claim for late completion. On 24 November 2025, the group and Eskom signed a full and final settlement agreement for an amount of 580 million excluding VAT. This amount has been received, from which a prepayment was made towards a Standard Bank facility, bringing this legacy matter to a close. I would now like to hand over to Yolanda for the financial review.
Thank you, Russell. Contract revenue and operating profit increased to 7.8 billion and 689 million respectively, and include the recognition of the Kusile Power Project settlement with revenue of 448 million and operating profit of 388 million. As previously reported, the lenders extended the capital repayment profile of the loan as well as its duration to 30 June 2026. The group concluded a new 5-year term facility of 850 million with Standard Bank. The facility replaced the loan, which was fully settled on the 31st of October 2025, thereby terminating the historic lender arrangement and the restructuring plan. Key points of the Standard Bank facility. The facility will be repaid in 19 equal quarterly installments commencing from February 2026 to maturity by August 2030. Interest is payable at the equivalent of the 3-month JIBAR or equivalent thereof, plus a margin of 3.5% compounded quarterly. An initial interest-only payment of 6.7 million was made in November 2025. 620 million of proceeds received from the settlement of the Kusile Power Project and the disposal of SES Mozambique, less associated costs and working capital requirements, were utilized to make capital prepayments. In addition, the first installment of 16.8 million was paid, thereby reducing the outstanding capital to 223 million. Interest on the facility and the historical loan amount to 80 million. The facility is secured through customary security arrangements and includes financial covenant requirements that are typical for agreements of this nature. At 28 February 2026, the first measuring date, the financial covenants were met. In addition, the facility was partially supported by guarantees provided by the group's guarantee providers. After year-end, the guarantee providers were released from their obligations under the facility due to the significant reduction in the outstanding capital value. With respect to the disposal of SES Mozambique and Stefanuti Stocks Construction, the group entered into various agreements to dispose of its entire shareholding for $3.9 million. Furthermore, the purchaser advanced $6.1 million to enable SES Mozambique to repay the group a trade liability of 113 million rand. A working capital loan of $3.5 million was also advanced by the purchaser to support SES Mozambique, which will remain with the operation on disposal. The relevant sale agreements became unconditional and the transaction was implemented on 12 December 2025. All funds were received and the trade liability was settled. The disposal resulted in a net loss of 1 million rand, which includes a 9 million foreign exchange loss relating to the settlement of the trade liability and leakage costs of 7 million. On disposal, the revaluation reserve of land and buildings of 56 million realized directly into retained earnings, and the foreign currency translation reserve of 25 million was recognized in the statement of profit or loss. With respect to continuing operations, excluding the Kusile Power Project settlement, revenue of 7.4 billion generated operating profit of 301 million. These results were impacted by the impairment of land and buildings of 27 million. EBITDA, excluding the effect of the Kusile Power Project settlement of 388 million, reflected an increase in operational performance to 464 million compared to 428 million. The group performed a revaluation of its land and buildings at year-end, reducing the interval between revaluations from 5 years to 4 years. An impairment of 27 million was recognized due to the valuations performed. Operating profit increased with 107% to 689 million and includes 388 million relating to the Kusile Power Project settlement. Investment income of 167 million mainly consists of 132 million of interest recognized in terms of the Kusile Power Project settlement. Furthermore, reduced cash balances during the year resulted in lower investment income of 35 million. Included within finance costs is interest paid on the facility and an historical loan, which significantly reduced to 80 million compared to 115 million of the prior year. The financing of capital expenditure during the current and prior year contributed to the increase in interest relating to installment sales and lease liabilities to 38 million from 25 million. The tax charge is impacted by the utilization of the assessed losses within the South African trading entity, as well as the recognition of a deferred tax asset of 35 million relating to these losses. Profit after tax for the year increased to 632 million and includes 492 million relating to the Kusile Power Project settlement. With respect to discontinued operations, the loss of 13 million from discontinued operations consists of 37 million trading loss, a net loss of 1 million relating to the disposal of SS Mozambique, and a foreign exchange profit of 25 million due to the realization of the foreign currency translation reserve. Profit for the year for total operations improved significantly to 620 million, resulting in total earnings per share of 370 cents. The statement of financial position. Property, plant and equipment increased to 1.1 billion due to capital expenditure incurred of 325 million, of which 126 million was acquired through cash transactions and 199 million was financed. Depreciation increased to 134 million compared to 91 million of the prior year due to the capital expenditure incurred in the current and prior financial year. Contracts in progress increased to 705 million, mainly due to costs incurred on a wastewater treatment project. Debtors days increased to 85 days due to a project linked to milestone invoicing and an advance payment and certification on a tailings dam project. Payments relating to these projects were received subsequent to year-end. In addition, a significant receivable relating to a road infrastructure project remains outstanding. Other receivables increased from 434 million to 541 million as a result of an increase in retentions, prepayments and advances. Capital and reserves strengthened to 593 million, mainly due to the net effect of the Kusile Power Project settlement of 492 million. On the liability side of the statement of financial position, the significant reduction in interest-bearing liabilities to 668 million is mainly due to capital repayments on the Standard Bank facility, reducing the outstanding capital balance to 223 million. The reduction in current liabilities is attributable to the classification of the Standard Bank facility between current and non-current liabilities. Installment sales and lease liabilities increased to 390 million due to capital expenditure financed through installment sales of 102 million and lease liabilities of 97 million. Trade and other payables decreased to 1 billion, reflecting a decrease in creditors' days from 27 days to 25 days. A significant increase in excess billings over work done from 1.2 billion to 2.7 billion mainly relates to milestone-based contracts and advance payments received on major long-term projects. These will unwind in line with project delivery. Provisions decreased from 929 million to 827 million due to the completion of certain projects and the finalization of the loss-making project in Mauritius. Analyzing the statement of cash flows. The cash flow statement is presented for total operations. Cash generated from operations of 730 million include the effect of the Kusile Power Project settlement. The increase in excess billings over work done of 1.6 billion is offset by an increase in trade and other receivables and contracts in progress, resulting in a net inflow of working capital of 947 million. Interest paid of 145 million was offset by investment income of 168 million, which includes 132 million of interest relating to the Kusile Power Project settlement. Total tax paid comprises of 88 million of foreign taxes, 38 million of local taxes, and 22 million of withholding taxes, resulting in a net cash inflow from operating activities of 1.6 billion. Investing activities consist of proceeds received of 34 million from the disposal of plant and equipment, as well as an unincorporated joint operation in Eswatini, capital expenditure incurred of 126 million, and a net outflow of 194 million, consisting of net proceeds received on the disposal of SS Mozambique, reduced by the operations bank balances. Financing activities mainly include repayment of debt of 786 million and 165 million loan advanced by the purchaser to support SS Mozambique. Cash flows generated from operations contributed to the group's cash position, increasing to 1.1 billion. I would like to give guidance for continuing operations for the next 12 months. Inland region, we expect an increase in contract revenue with a similar operating profit. Coastal region, we expect an increase in contract revenue and a slight reduction in operating profit margin. Western Cape region, we expect a significant increase in contract revenue with a similar operating profit margin. Africa region, we expect a significant increase in contract revenue with a low operating profit margin with a stronger performance in the second 6 months. For corporate services, we expect slightly reduced costs compared to currently reported. I would like to hand back to Russell for the ESG part of the presentation.
Thank you, Yolanda. The group's ESG strategy is designed to proactively identify, manage, and mitigate environmental, social, and governance risks through the implementation of robust policies, effective practices, and responsible decision-making frameworks. In doing so, we aim to strengthen long-term sustainability, support stakeholder confidence, and create enduring value for the group and the communities in which we operate. Our people are our greatest investment and the driving force behind our success. As the true enablers of our business, their expertise, commitment, and innovation strengthen our ability to deliver sustainable growth, operational excellence, and long-term value for our stakeholders. The group currently employs over 5,600 people, of which 15% are female. The average age of our employees is 41 years. During the year, 18 million was invested in skills development training, bursaries, and scholarships. The group continues to be a level 1 broad-based black economic empowerment contributor measured against the construction sector charter, with the following scores: black ownership of 55%, management control 62%, employment equity 81%, preferential procurement 115%, skills development 124%, socio-economic development 120%, and enterprise development of 12 companies with a score of 100%. Management and employees remain firmly committed to upholding the group's health and safety policies, procedures, and standards. Through a shared culture of accountability, vigilance, and continuous improvement, the group strives to strengthen its safety performance, protect the well-being of its people, and maintain a safe and healthy working environment across all operations. The group's lost time injury frequency rate and recordable case rate improved to 0.06 and 0.26 respectively. The group's environmental management system reflects ongoing commitment to minimizing environmental impact and embedding sustainable practices across all operations. Through the implementation of structured policies, controls, and monitoring processes, the group seeks to promote responsible resource management, regulatory compliance, and long-term environmental stewardship. Stefanutti Stocks boasts a well-established environmental management system. This system enables the group to identify, assess, and manage environmental risks and impacts, supporting informed decision-making and the continuous improvement of environmental performance across its operations. The group recorded no reportable environmental incidents or legal contraventions, reflecting its continued focus on responsible environmental management and operational discipline. The group holds the following ISO certifications: ISO 14001 Environmental Management, ISO 9001 Quality Management, ISO 45001 Health and Safety, ISO 27001 Information Security. As part of our ongoing digital transformation strategy and commitment to global best practice, we are targeting ISO 19650 accreditation. This is an international standard for building information modeling BIM and digital information management across the entire asset lifecycle, providing a globally recognized framework for the consistent, collaborative, and efficient delivery of projects. Achieving this accreditation will strengthen our position as a leading multidisciplinary construction and engineering group by enhancing information governance, improving coordination between disciplines, reducing project risk and rework, increasing operational efficiency, and enabling more predictable project outcomes. It will also reinforce our ability to compete on major public and private sector projects locally and internationally, while supporting smarter digital delivery, improved asset management, and greater value creation across the full construction lifecycle. The group is driving the digital transformation of construction in South Africa through groundbreaking initiatives in BIM. BIM provides advanced digital tools that enhance project coordination and significantly improve project planning and control. Our regional technical teams are developing comprehensive construction models, ensuring that everything we do is carefully planned, designed, and detailed to align with operations. This strengthens our technical capability and positions us to compete in a rapidly changing economy where digitalization plays an increasingly important role. Through BIM, we have significantly reduced project risk, particularly for our cross-border operations. Through advanced technology, we are also progressing towards the development of virtual training modules specifically tailored for our labor force and operational teams. Data-driven decision-making. By using better data and reporting tools to track project performance, manage costs, and support smarter decisions, giving all regions the same information, decisions can be made faster with greater accuracy and confidence. Artificial intelligence. With the use of AI in our daily systems and the automation of routine tasks, we aim to improve reporting, provide faster insights, reduce manual work, improving speed, consistency, and decision making. Digital twin technology. Using advanced digital models that create a live, real-time view of projects helps teams to identify issues early, better manage costs and quality, and give clients clearer visibility of project progress and outcomes. Risk management is fully integrated into strategy, planning, decision-making, and operational execution. The board retains ultimate accountability, with oversight delegated through board subcommittees, supported by clearly defined 5 lines of assurance model. A group-wide enterprise risk management framework is consistently applied across regions, disciplines, operating companies, and projects. Risks are identified and managed at strategic and operational levels, ensuring both downside protection and maximizing opportunities. Management adopts a risk-aware philosophy, balancing growth, returns, and capital discipline within an improved risk appetite. This results in a more resilient organization with improved risk visibility, stronger assurance, and better informed decision-making in support of long-term sustainability. Outlook for the group. Opportunities exist in the following sectors: water, wastewater, renewable energy, data centers, mining, marine, road, and rail infrastructure. The group will continue to maintain a disciplined and focused approach in pursuing new opportunities that align with the group's core competencies, thereby enhancing our ability to execute the group's order book efficiently and profitably. Dedicated teams within each region continue to leverage the latest technologies and innovation initiatives to improve operational performance, project delivery, and overall efficiency across the group. The group remains fully focused on operational excellence, supported by our multidisciplinary offering, which continues to provide meaningful value to clients and strengthen our competitive positioning in the market. We have experienced good success with our design and construct capability and intend to further expand this specialized offering as part of our broader growth strategy. The group is well positioned to operate in a normalized trading environment, enabling management to focus fully on execution, growth, and long-term value creation. This brings us to the end of our presentation. Yolanda and I are now available for any questions. Thank you.